about being a member of the Information Society. That's a difficult question because I didn't know we were in the Information Society.
Hey guys, this is 101R Smith, also known as Reggie Smith, bringing you yet another review for the Gunpla Network. This time of the Master Grade Gundam GP01 Full Burner. Or is it Full Vernier? Bandai's never really clear about the name. For the box art, Bandai likes to get right and straight and to the point with the kit. It's a Photoshop picture of the GP01 Full Burner flying in space, trying to demonstrate why it makes it so different from the normal GP01. Obviously it's in space and has better thrusters and vernier, so it's better capable for space combat. It's pretty simple box art, but for late 90s Bandai, this is actually pretty good. The building process is simple enough, however, because of the manual, it can get a little confusing sometimes. It doesn't break up the manual right through runners and stuff like traditional modern day manuals do. It just likes to get to the part names and go straight to the point. So this can get kind of confusing for a lot of new builders, but veterans of Gunpla should be able to get through this pretty fun. Surprisingly, there's not a ton of inner frame here, so you won't be building too long, but it works pretty well. I'll give the building process for GP01 a 7 out of 10. The overall look for the GP01 Full Burner has admittedly a mixed look in my bag. While this is very presentable and it looks like the GP01, there is a lot of discrepancies when it comes to the overall proportions. I find that the feet are just a little bit too big, the shoulders to be a little too big, and the arms would be just a tad bit short. I feel like the proportions are a bit off here. As well as proportions, I feel like there's some color issues here. At least in my runners, the white is off this greenish tone, which doesn't look pretty at all. It's not the standard white, and I don't know whether or not that's due to the age of the mold or the age of the kit. It could have been just it was sitting outwards or for too long, I don't know. Honestly, when it comes to the overall look, I'm not a big fan of it, so I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10. The articulation, unfortunately, is again another sufferer due to its old age here in the GP01. You're gonna get some decent articulation with the elbows and the knees. However, due to a lack of an inner frame, not everything feels steady. One of my major gripes about the GP01 is the fact that every time I would try to bend out the arms in a parallel situation, they mainly fell off. And this doesn't translate very well when it comes to accessories later down the line. You would think since there's inner frame in the legs, you get some decent articulation, but no. You can't even get a double jointed knee bend, even though there are double joints in this knee. Just like in the chest, there's not really a lot of good articulation as well, and that's not even because of the core fighter. Articulation for the GP01, I feel, well, was serviceable enough and maybe better than, let's say, the Gundam Wing 100s from back in the 90s. As a modern grade, master grade, it wouldn't hold a candle. This thing just fails on too many different ways, and I feel you're not going to get a lot of bang out of the buck for your posability. I'm going to give posability a 5.5 out of 10. The GP01 comes with a fair amount of accessories, at least for standard Gunpla in the mid to late 90s. First off, you're going to come with a core fighter. Yes, this is one of the RX-78 derivatives, so this comes with a core fighter. By itself, it looks pretty good, however there are a fair amount of color apps missing that you're going to have to paint up. You install it by removing the chest, putting it into the core fighter, and then putting the chest back in. It works fair enough, and there's not really two connection issues that allows the chest to fall off or anything like that, but nothing too harrowing and noticeable to really talk about. Another cool feature in terms of the chest is you can install verniers into the chest just like in the anime. What you will do is take out the yellow pieces off of the vents and replace them with pieces that have openings that allow for the verniers to be installed. It looks pretty good and gives off that iconic scene of fighting the GP02. In terms of actual accessories that the Gunpla can hold, you'll get the standard B rifle. Nothing too special, two pieces slapped together. However, you are allowed to color the clear piece in its own color. You can do like myself and do the traditional red like it's supposed to be, or you're allowed to color it any color you so choose. You also get 2 beam sabers that work fine enough and are installed in the core fighter, and you get the shield. However, due to the literal size of the shield, you're not going to be able to hold on to it pretty well. However, it does have the opening where you can slide it up and down. In terms of accessories, I will give the GP01 full burner a 6.5 out of 10. Can you have fun with this kit? That's actually a pretty good question, and I'm not trying to be cynical here. Hear me out. While I do think the GP01 has a fair amount of accessories to pose with it, the issue with the articulation leaves the lack of imagination here. Even if you have a great imagination for posability, I feel that the GP01 full burner will fail you in this aspect. I think that the lack of articulation will hinder certain poses, and I do feel like the box art does cheat out a little bit in terms of what you can do. However, if you wanted to battle with any other Gunpla, say like the GP02 or the classic RX-78, I think you can manage pretty well. In terms of the other accessories, they do have a fair amount of functionality, especially with the shield, so you can get somewhat creative with it, but don't think you'll be getting some amazing posing like an XC or a Stray here. You gotta remember that this kit comes from 1997, and unfortunately, I find it that you have a lack of options when it comes to the fun factor here. I will give the fun factor of the GP01 a 6 out of 10. My final thoughts on the GP01 full burner is a mixed bag, though admittedly it leans more to negativity than positivity. I really wanted, when I built this kit, to say, yeah, you know, it might be a little bit old, but it still stands the test of time. Unfortunately, I just cannot say that for this case. The GP01 full burner, I feel, is just too outdated. It's maybe one step ahead of the old Endless Waltz 1100 from 1997. This thing has interframe, but the lack of use just isn't there. It's terrible when it comes to posing. You would think with interframe on the legs, you would get good posing. No. I feel that the GP01's color scheme looks too toyish and just stands out in terrible ways in comparison to its temporaries. It just doesn't look good color-wise, and I really highly suggest that if you get this kit that you should paint it. The accessories are nothing exactly to write home about outside of the shield, but even the shield is just too heavy for the arms to hold. Not a lot of posability, especially with the arms, because it's just held in with a poly cap. You will get some decent dry transfer stickers, but otherwise, that's really it. I feel that this kit is broken. Outside of maybe looking good if you paint it up, that's all you're gonna get. This desperately needs a 2.0 for Ka something, because the 1.0 master grade of this from 1997 just does not hold up, and I cannot recommend this kit unless you are a veteran hardcore Gunpla fan who could paint this up, maybe modify it a little bit to give yourself some better articulation. But as it stands, I'm sorry guys, please don't get the master grade GP01. The high grade, the real grade, the perfect grade beats this in so many different aspects and goes way in beyond what this 1997 kit can do. With that, I'm going to say this is 101 R Smith, and I will see you later.